Hi, welcome to Paint Talk, the weekly show where I give my opinions on everything painting. Today we're going to be talking about how to practice. Now, how to practice, this was a big thing that I felt like I struggled finding information for a long time on, because you see a lot of these people on online, YouTube and stuff like that, and a lot of them are showing videos of them doing full paintings, commissioned paintings they're going to sell, like finished paintings, but a lot of them never talked about how they practice, like what materials they use. Every day, are they walking into their studio and working on a commission? Do they ever do exercises? Will they do studies? What they do those studies on? How many paintings do they do before they do the actual full finished painting? So I'm going to address some of those questions today in Paint Talk, and I'm just going to jump on in and just go straight to materials. This is a big one because it's not free to paint. You got to pay for all this stuff. You have to pay for your brushes, your canvas, your paint, everything, and it costs money, and it puts an unneeded pressure on your painting. If every single time you paint, you're painting on a $20 canvas, you're using paints that are $20 a tube. It's not the greatest mindset to go into a painting. That's why I recommend having cheaper materials to practice with. And this doesn't mean that the materials are bad. If you get just like the regular Winsor & Newton paint that is sold at Michael's and pretty much every art store, it's not bad quality. Is it the best quality? Absolutely not. But you need to practice. And same with, I recommend getting a pad of canvas paper, a big pad of canvas paper that you can do multiple studies on. Is it the best thing and you should use it for commissions and selling work? Probably not. But just having quick, easy, inexpensive access to materials to paint on every day is going to just automatically make you paint more. And that's the goal. The goal is just to paint more. And it's hard. I know it's hard to figure out what materials to get, because like I said, like every time you see other artists on YouTube, like a lot of them are just kind of showcasing, and they're showing them painting at the highest level possible with the highest materials possible, and they're getting paid to do it. And that's good, but it doesn't help you with everyday practice. A lot of them also have their own high-end materials that they sell. Like, again, that's not great for practice. What should you do practice? And just straightforward, I recommend a canvas pad, cheap paint. I recommend Rosemary & Co brushes. They're great brushes and they're very cheap. Get a pad of canvas, get a pad of palette paper. That's cheap. You don't have to go get a glass nice glass palette, whereas you can get that pretty much for free. If you find a nice piece of tempered glass at a garage sale, go to Goodwill, find a picture frame, that has a glass in it for $3, and just take the glass out. Be careful, don't cut yourself or put it anywhere it's going to break, but bam, you have a glass palette that you can scrape off if that's easier for you. So about like 10 years ago, I was trying to find good materials that were good to practice on, that I wasn't going to feel bad if the painting turned out bad and nothing wasn't, I'd never show it. But still, I didn't want horrible materials, that if I did create a really good painting that I liked, that it would not have been on a very bad, cheap surface or with bad materials. So I've kind of found the middle ground in terms of canvases. I really like Cerulean oil prime linen. They have panels and canvases. Again, is it the highest quality possible? No, but it's good quality, and they're very cheap. I'll put a link to where I get it. I get a lot of my stuff from Jerry's Artorama. That's a great place. They're always having really good deals. I go there for some stuff. I don't have just one place. I go there for some stuff. I go to Michael's for some stuff. Rarely do I go to like an actual art store. I feel like art stores, like the nice little, like Blick and all those other ones, even if you have a local art store, they tend to be a lot more expensive. They just don't have many deals or sales or anything going on, whereas Michael's has, they got Gambling paint, which is really good paint, and you can use the 50% off coupon. And so just finding materials that you like that's not going to break your budget, that you can always have available, is going to really help the amount of practice that you do. And closely related to that is my next point, which is setting up an environment in a situation where it's easy for you to paint every day. I know a lot of people are limited for space. I was for a while painting on a balcony outside, you know, whether it was really hot or whether it was really cold, and it was a small little, probably 3 foot by 8 foot area, but that's all I had, and it was my space. When I was in college, I had a little portable easel, and I, you know, would just set it up in the corner, and that's, you know, by a window, and that's where I would paint. I always found a way to do it, and that's what you need to do. You need to have like a designated space, or, you know, even if this space is just your French easel and you can move it to wherever you're going to be out of the way, if you have roommates or living with family, or if you need to be by a window for fumes and ventilation. Outside is always great. If, you know, weather permitting, you have a covered area outside. If you have like a garage, the temperature is not horrible, or, you know, a covered deck or patio or something, and, you know, you're going to be out of the elements, you know, that's great. You don't have to worry about ventilation. So just having your area and then having your stuff ready for you to jump in and paint the next day is huge. If you come in the next day and your brushes aren't clean, and you haven't scraped off your palette and everything's a mess, and you don't have your canvas up, you know, that's just so much resistance for you there's so much reason for you not to paint, and you just want to get rid of any reason not to paint. So do yourself a favor and just take the extra, you know, 15 minutes when you're done painting, and set it up so when you come in the next day, you can just jump on into painting. You really want to cut down your setup time, and if you can, also your cleanup time too. Like, I don't wash my brushes after I paint. I have this brush dip that has dipped my brushes, so now I've eliminated having to do that. So when I think about, oh, I'm going to sit down and paint, all I need is a, you know, 30-minute window to make it worth it to actually sit down and paint. But when you have to, you know, clean your brushes, set up your palette, get your canvas ready, you think like, oh, I want to paint, oh, but I got to do this and then that, I got to set up this and I got to clean that, and by that time I'll have to leave, and, you know, you really want to minimalize everything and make it so even if you do have a 30-minute window, that's enough for you to be like, oh yeah, that's enough. I can jump in and get, you know, 15 or 20 minutes in painting. That's worth it. All right, now this is a big one, which is be willing to fail. I know we live in like the day of social media, and you want to post everything and showcase and show how good you are and show you're improving, and that's great. But don't, you know, you're gonna fail more than you succeed. You know, if you haven't realized that, sorry to break it to you, but, you know, it's going to be at least like a 75% failure rate. At least I hope so, because that's a good thing. That means you're trying, and you're trying to do different things, and you're trying to get better, and not just staying comfortable and just doing the same thing over and over and not getting better, which a lot of people do. I feel like that's 95% of the people I see on YouTube and Instagram and the social media, is they just do the same thing over and over and over and over, and, you know, it gets likes and views or whatever, but they don't ever push themselves. They never make themselves uncomfortable. They don't show their failures. I love it so much when people show their failures. They show themselves actually trying to do something they can't do, because that means, but, you know, if they keep doing that, one day they will be able to do that. And now they've taken a thing that they can't do and they made it something they can do. So just be willing to fail is huge. And I know it sucks. It doesn't feel good to fail, especially when you put in a lot of effort. Like, I can't tell you how many times that I've, you know, packed my stuff, left early in the morning, you know, hiked a long way, found my place to set up the plein air paint, fighting off mosquitoes and heat and sweat, and I forgot my water, and my umbrella won't stay up and it's blowing over, my canvas fell over, my paint thinner spilled, I got paint all over my hands, and then my painting looks horrible. I have like nothing to bring home. Like that, I don't know, it's that is such a demoralizing experience, but it's also, I don't know, part of me, I like it because I know I had to do that. Like, you have to get through that, and it won't last forever. As long as you keep going, you will get better. you have to go through those bad paintings to get to the good paintings and honor the effort. Whenever I go out, my painting just doesn't turn out great, I say, well, at least I got out there and I got better. I know that I had to paint that bad painting one way or another because it was a step to the good paintings that are ahead. Because it's not about the end product. It's very easy to get caught in that. You just want to get to the end finished nice, painting that you can post on social media or sell or show everybody. But it's really not. It's really about the process. And I've never had to consciously think of that. It's always just been about the process for me, which is why I feel like I've, no matter what, continually found a way to always paint, no matter what my circumstances was because I needed the actual act of painting. It wasn't about, it wasn't about the finished painting. But don't get caught up in the end product. Just really learn to love the process, because that's how you're going to get better. So that is this episode of Paint Talk. Please, if you have questions, if you want to see me talk about other topics on oil paint, let me know in the description. Send me questions. I will answer your questions in the next Paint Talk. If you want to see what I'm painting on a daily basis, you can follow me on Instagram at Forza43. I am Chris Fornatero, here telling you to go get painting.